Hello and welcome to SAR Histories, where on the channel today we will be visiting a site where the course of British history changed, ending the old medieval world and giving rise to an age of discovery. And it all happened here at Bosworth Battlefield. The Battle of Bosworth was the last major battle of the civil war between the houses of Lancaster and York, a war we call the War of the Roses. Bosworth Heritage Centre is at the top of Ambion Hill, where Richard III camped with his army before the battle. I visited on the battle's anniversary, and it was nice to see that a service was given in remembrance of all those that fell that bloody day.
This occasion this year is particularly poignant. Over these last few months and years, all of us have cause to reflect on life and loss and the frailty of life, and indeed, I trust, what matters in life. And that's in part what we'll be doing here today as we reflect on life and loss and the event of the battle. We meet in the presence of God to remember and commemorate those who died on this day in 1485 at the Battle of Bosworth.
In an act of remembrance, red and white roses were laid upon the sundial, which has arrows pointing towards other battles fought during the Wars of the Roses. The Heritage Centre first opened in 1974 and its exhibition extended in 1985 for the 500-year anniversary. Then, in 2005, the Heritage Lottery Fund Award granted for a battlefield survey and a new exhibition, which was opened in 2008. The exhibition is tidy and well presented with easy to read information boards. On display here are replica items which will give insight into the world of 1483. As you walk through the rooms, you will follow the events leading up to the battle, how the armies were raised and maintained. Also, you can watch short videos of people giving their experience of the battle. The War of the Roses began in 1455 in the wake of the 100 Years' War. Henry VI was deemed to be a weak king and was disposed of, only to be restored and then disposed of again. The Yorkist Edward IV then reigned until 1483, when his health began to decline and he fell fatally ill. Prior to his death, he named his brother Richard, Duke of Gloucester, as Lord Protector of the 12-year-old Edward V. Richard instead took the throne after the infamous Princes in the Tower were declared illegitimate and suddenly disappeared in the summer of 1483. Richard's right to rule was challenged by Henry Tudor, a descendant of a much diminished Lancastrian branch of England's nobility. The two sides met at Bosworth, and after a bloody encounter which Richard III never survived, Henry VII came to the throne. This section is one of my favourite parts of the exhibition, as it displays weaponry of the time alongside armour. Pre-pandemic, the section had armour you could try on, and I hope that this returns as things get back to normal, as it was a great addition that made you feel part of the medieval world. It is fascinating getting up close to these weapons, and the one thing I realised was just how crude they were. Crude, but effective in battle. The wall was lined with armour, with details of how to put it on, and it was a wonder of how they were able to fight carrying such weight. This part about medieval medicine is my favourite in the exhibition, and it offers some gruesome facts. Also, you will find a reconstructed head of a man who was killed at the Battle of Towton in 1461. The disfigurement of his face was caused by an earlier wound, and it is reckoned that the left side of his face was unusable. The battle section is the main part of the exhibition and is an excellent feature. All around you are lights and noise, making you feel as though you are stood in the middle of a medieval battle. There are a few interactive things here, but sadly they are not working at the moment, this being due to both COVID and wear and tear. Hopefully soon this will get sorted. It is a great spot to sit and listen to a blow-by-blow account of the battle. Coming towards the end is the aftermath section, which tells of what happened to Richard's remains and others that fell during the battle. The best thing here is King Richard's soil casket that was made by Michael Ibsen, Richard's 17th great nephew. It is believed that around 1,000 people died in the battle, and that their remains were buried at Dadlington. Richard's remains were lost until 2012 when they were discovered under a car park. He now lays at rest in Leicester Cathedral. Heading towards the museum part is the Tudor age replicas, where you have the chance to see Elizabethan style. It was while walking through here that I began to wonder how different our history would have been had Henry Tudor lost and Richard won. For history without the Tudors is inconceivable, as they gave us the most memorable kings and queens. The museum, although small, houses a collection of artefacts found around Fen Lane and across towards Shenton, which is the battlefield. But best of all is the Bosworth Boar, which suggests the area where Richard III made his last stand and was slain. The battlefield has been ploughed over many times since 1485, and finds are difficult due to them being destroyed over the passing centuries. As it was the anniversary of the battle, Bosworth hosted a medieval medley which you could enter at an additional cost of £3 per person. It was enjoyable to walk around the encampment and to listen to the medieval music and watch the archery display. The encampment offered you a chance to get up close with the reenactors, hold weapons and discuss about the period. It was interesting, but there wasn't a lot there.
The top two are for hunting. This one will be used for hunting deer. And the way they, certainly in the Tudor period, the way they would hunt deer was not to sort of sneak up on them in the woods and try and shoot them while they're unsuspecting them. They would actually be in a hide in the woods in a clearing, a bit like a modern day pheasant shoot, but instead of being in a long line, you'd be in a group. And this is sort of another leash in the Tudor period.
After the long bow, it was flat and forward.
The end, or in many cases, most of them won't, and they'll be dead. We will begin our story in 1453. On the throne of England is currently Henry VI and his Queen Margaret of Anjou. Peasants, worst peasants. For the following 2 years, York was responsible for the government. However, with many soldiers now out of work from wars in France, various nobles across the country split into factions and launched their own independent feuds set on capturing other lands.
What you have just watched was the War of the Roses in 30 minutes, more of a stage play than a battle reenactment. For me, this felt a little lukewarm. The performance was fine, but I would have much preferred to see a real battle reenactment. As a whole, the living encampment was good, but not great. I expected more than what was there, especially as it was an upcharge event. The last medieval festival I went to was at Evesham, and that was by far the better of the two, and is free to attend. Would I return for next year's medieval medley? Probably not, as I feel there is not enough there to tempt me, though there is space to add a lot more. Leading from the Heritage Centre is the Heritage Trail, which offers a glimpse of the surrounding countryside. Along this walk you will find information boards about the battle and those that fought in it. The walk is free and is a great place to take your dog. Car parking at the site is £2.50 for the day, and if you pay full price for a ticket to the exhibition, you can return as many times as you like within a year for free. It is difficult to imagine these tranquil fields being host to such a pivotal battle over 500 years ago, but history was made here, and to walk upon the soil here is truly enthralling to all those that understand what happened here. I enjoy visiting Bosworth Battlefield and am already planning another visit and highly recommend it to others, for a large part of British history began here. If you have enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Until then, goodbye.